Good Thanksgiving afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center as we're looking here at a severe thunderstorm warning in play for portions of Berrien, Colquitt, and Cook counties here until about 3:45. We are tracking some pretty nasty activity here, maybe catching you guys off guard a little bit because most of the area staying pretty dry, but this storm has really ramped up over the last little bit and impacting areas around I-75 there. So definitely a cause for concern as we're tracking the overall scenario. You can see the heavy rainfall there looking north of Sparks. And even some wind enhancement in here as well. Could have wind gusts to 60 miles an hour, not out of the question. A little bit of weak rotation, not enough for a tornado possible tag. At this point, we'll have to monitor to see if the rotation picks up a little bit here. I go to the debris product. You don't really see anything too definitive there. But there definitely could be some hail to about an inch in diameter here around I-75 right now in south central Georgia. So I know trying to be a happy Thanksgiving for folks, but we have a severe storm moving across here right now, across parts of the viewing circle. So again, most of you guys are dry. You're probably wondering, well, what is the concern? Because the skies might not look too terrible. The sun might be even out, depending on where you are in the viewing region. You see the margin risk of severe weather, though, in that dark green. That is a area that we're going to be monitoring here as I put on our tornado risk, more in that zone, hail there, and wind there. So you can kind of get an idea. This may not be the only one we get, or maybe this storm holds together across Georgia there for a while. Not completely out of the question. So we'll continue to watch for that. I know, let me go ahead, kind of switch things around. Bear with me here. I'm going to go ahead, put our instability. You can see there's quite a bit across the state. So in theory, this storm could hold together as we're looking here, as we're tracking the overall scenario because of that daytime heating play. As we get later on, maybe not as big of a concern, but again, just kind of giving you guys the latest here as we're dealing with the storyline here. I know we're going to have a freeze coming up eventually as we have a freeze watch in play even for some of our southwestern Georgia counties. I know going to be watching for that potential maybe as early as Saturday morning up there. Some other areas it might take a little bit longer, but definitely watching some concern this afternoon. I know, let me go ahead and see where we are at here. I know, it's been a while since we've had a severe thunderstorm warning in our area. We've had, tropical cyclones, the tornado warnings, and the like. But having this on Thanksgiving kind of pop up, we did mention the Bristow on Tuesday night. If you're tuning in, it's not a zero risk here. It was a non-zero risk. So definitely something to keep an eye on, and that's what we're doing, and that's why we're now on the air, because there was enough concern here on some of those radar scans. We're getting a pretty nasty little hail core, it looked like, to develop here within this. You see, though, on the infrared, view that sometimes so the color cloud tops. This is a visible view here, and you can see, looking here at this, there's a lot of zones here where you have some clearings. So that helps temperatures heat up. And that helps with destabilizing the overall conditions here down toward, the surface with some of these storms being able to produce. I mean, maybe, in some of these instances you have too much stabilization and then you could have some issues. It's been a while. I mean, it feels like we're in summertime talking about this stuff. It's kind of strange. All of a sudden we jump into this on Thanksgiving, but we do have the boundary here in play. As we kind of look at some things, I mean, that's just kind of a storyline that we have to be mindful of, and just continue to give you guys the latest on here, in the Weather Center, as we try to keep you guys safe and informed. So, again, just monitoring everything here for you. Let me go ahead and see where else I might want to go. I haven't pulled this up in a while. But let's take a look outside where we're at. Not on during the daylight hours too much, but let me go ahead and pull up our camera here in northern Florida. You see, not, really beautiful, but it's not too bad looking right now. We're 79 degrees. It was a little bit warmer earlier on, but 79 degrees here around the Stark area right now in eastern Bradford County. As we go back to this warning, I don't think this storm's quite as concerning as it was a few minutes ago. It wasn't overly concerning, but especially on Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving afternoon, folks are traveling. I want to make sure we jumped in case this really ramped up even more and we got like a tornado warning or something. You can see we had some hail indications there north of Ellington, maybe just under severe limits, and now they dropped a little bit further, it would seem. But the warning is for the hail concern, not so much the wind now, according to the Weather Service. They just sent an update here to the Weather Service in Tallahassee. They canceled the warning for northeastern Colquitt County as that severe thunderstorm activity has moved out of the warned area there. So that county's been dropped. But at 312, a severe thunderstorm was located near Sparks or near Adele, released at 30 miles an hour, and they're now saying it's more about the hail and less about the wind. They do not have the 60-mile-an-hour wind gust potential listed anymore, just the potential for quarter-size hail. Adele, Nashville, Sparks, Lenox, Cottle, Cook County Airport, over toward Staunton there, Massey, Barneyville, even the LeConte area, Wagon Wheel as well. So monitoring this carefully. Now, we don't have our formal update tonight since it is Thanksgiving, but if we need to break back in later, it will. Of course, we'll have our update next Tuesday, late Tuesday, early Wednesday. But before then, we're going to have some colder air coming on in toward the picture here. It's going to be very, very chilly as we're looking ahead. You see, though, right now, there's not much else on the radar. That kind of helps this storm, thrive in an environment that's not really favorable. I honestly hadn't gotten too favorable. It just storm all by itself would cause for some concern. I know we did have some apparent, areas there of a little bit of debris popping up in the algorithms on radar this morning in Alabama as we were looking back there in the wee hours to, just a little maybe before, as you're just waking up here on that Thanksgiving morning. But as we kind of look at things, I know also, the weather pattern across the country, and some of you in our area may not be here. Maybe you're traveling. It's very chilly. I mean, not just, crazy anomalous type of, chilly conditions, but, cool there around like St. Louis, 34 degrees there. It's 31 in Chicago, but then you see a winter storm in the ward parts in the Northeast here today. At least it's not in New York where they had the parade. I know Detroit had a parade. Philadelphia had some. I think Grant was earlier this morning during their parade. But you can see here, as you're looking at things, there is some snow up toward areas of Vermont and New Hampshire. We were talking about that there late Tuesday. We'd have some of that on Thanksgiving, and here we are, Thanksgiving afternoon as we're breaking in right now. And we're definitely seeing the conditions here a cause for concern for those folks, at least. I mean, granted, winter weather up there is nothing like the winter weather that maybe, if we had something like this here, it would just be absolutely crippling, obviously. And not expecting anything like that across North Florida anytime soon. But, as you can see there, some of these areas getting like 7 inches of snow and the like there. As you get towards some of those states, you see New York State getting quite a bit further up as well. Not New York City, but again, watching that, I know, as we see that temperature contrast, I want to just make a point here real quick. I know we didn't really talk about it on Tuesday night, but could have some lake effect snow there around Buffalo and Orchard Park for that big NFL game on Sunday night between the Buffalo Bills and San Francisco 49ers. So that'll be something to monitor as we're looking at things. But as we get back down toward the south here, let me go ahead and kind of give you here another look at the Doppler perspective. Again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning here in play until about 3:45. They may drop a little early though because this is weakening some. That's what we want to see. I mean, most stuff today has been pretty weak looking, but then this really ramped on up here. I'm talking about in our Georgia counties. We did have a tornado or two maybe touching down in Alabama this morning. There was even a tornado warning officially in play there. I hadn't had a chance to go back. I read a whole bunch, but I did kind of note there seemed to have been some debris signatures earlier. But there was a tornado warning in Elmore County in Alabama, east central Alabama, around the Wetumpka/Talla I guess, Hassy or Assy reason there. As we're looking, there are different pronunciations for different areas there of the country, but you kind of, look at things here, give you guys the latest on things. You kind of look here at our Doppler perspectives and the like. I mean, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. You see some of these different areas in Alabama here and the like, and I know there's that community I'm talking about. We did have a warning in play early this morning in Elmore County. So as you're giving you guys the latest here, just trying to let you guys know what's going on. Let me go ahead and continue to monitor things here. Continue to give you guys the latest here on what's happening. I know. I hope everybody does have a good Thanksgiving here as you guys are tuning in. John and Robert there on YouTube. Just trying to give you guys the very latest here. Just trying to keep you safe. Let me go ahead and get back on over toward our other view. I know you have some weak rotation, but the winds are not that strong looking right now. Sometimes this can underdo it a little if you have a really strong supercellular structure. I'll back that up and say right before they issued the warning, that was a nasty looking hook there with a hail core as we were looking west of Interstate 75 in parts of our area there, Colquitt County, obviously, and moving into Cook County. I mean, that, looking at that, I mean, those frames not as much, but then that frame says, yeah, you need a warning probably because the structure just, is so definitive, even though maybe the rotation wasn't really tight, the winds weren't just overwhelming. Something like this would indicate maybe hail to an inch, even that little area there, and the reflectivity, that, a black color racing there and the like. But as we continue to give you the very latest here, we're just gonna continue to watch, continue to track it a little bit longer here as we're looking, as we're tracking there. We're trying to give you the very latest on everything, everything that's going on. I mean, just giving you all these latest updates. Again, we're right now here 3:21 Eastern Time on this Thanksgiving. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. I know, watching this, it looks pretty weak. May not stand too much longer. This keeps weakening like this because it's becoming, a weaker type of signature. Even though we do have the energy there, it's still, I mean, there just may not be enough with this really in this environment to really maintain things. As we're kind of trying to give you the latest there on what's going on. So again, Berry and Cook counties under this warning. Make sure you're in the interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump back on over to other mode. See how warm it is. So we still just, it's just the situation here is going to be a little iffy because there is enough instability, but, there's not a lot of other conditions here with this that are just overwhelming. In this pattern, we have some winds there that have been, at least letting it set up, but the parameters here are just not completely overwhelming, We're in late November, and we do have some instability, but sometimes you would get a stronger wind field here this time of year. So again, Just trying to let you know what's going on. Again, trying to keep you safe. Looking here at everything. You can see rainfall over the last hour, about a half an inch, and some of the darker blue colors that are on the screen. Let me go ahead and jump back over to another mode. Definitely don't see a lot of wind enhancement with this right now, which is great news. But you maybe have some small hail headed toward Nashville, Georgia. So that's something to watch. I'm surprised our hail indicator is picking up on this like it is, because it was looking stronger earlier on the reflectivity, but hail indicator is going, fairly strong with this right now. It does look stronger, but as you get further away on the radar perspective. And that looks like some rotation, though, on the Tallahassee radar. That's kind of interesting. That's pretty high up, though. It's a good thing we have some of these other radars here at our disposal, because I'm going to go forward with this. We just, that loop definitely said rotation more off the Tallahassee radar. And then kind of weakening that last frame. But that's over about 7,000 feet up on that one. This is quite a bit closer here. I just wanted to check different perspectives to make sure I wasn't missing anything. This is probably more what's reaching the ground. They did issue a new warning, so okay, let's go ahead and kind of keep watching this then. I'm a bit surprised they issued a new warning, to be quite honest, but let me go ahead and look here. Okay, so Barron and Cook now at 4 o'clock, so around the Nashville, Georgia area, we could have some hail there. It could get to an inch in diameter. The warning just for the hail, not for the wind. At this point, you could have gusts 40, 45 miles an hour, though. Not out of the question. But, of course, unlike tornado warnings, we don't have to stay on the air here with severe thunderstorm warnings here in play. We may not stay on with this one too much longer because the structure of this just isn't really too crazy looking right now. But we are watching this latest warning for Barron and Cook counties in Georgia. I know we're in Bradford County, Florida, but we covered the 62 counties. I know we're on for any tornado warning storms moving through the areas. But in Georgia right now is where the focus is. That's where the threat area is. And I'm continuing to watch that here. Continuing to give you the very latest on exactly what's happening. So let me go ahead. Let me see where else we might want to go with this. Okay, there's your new warning, though. Let me go ahead and read the latest on this. At 3:23, severe thunderstorm was located over Nashville. It went east at 35 miles an hour. East Central Cook and Central Berrien counties. Quarter-size hail, Nashville, Weber, Cottle, Berrien County Airport, Massey, and some other communities there as well. So just make sure that for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. Again, let's go ahead and keep watching. I know SPC did put out a mesoscale discussion now. So let me see that there's a 20% chance of a watch for that blue circled area. That goes way up there. I don't think they're going to issue one. If they did, it wouldn't probably be for that whole corridor. But that's where the greatest concern maybe would lie right now at the overlap of the, right atmospheric conditions, or more concerning ones. There's a margin risk for hail and wind to continue with thunderstorms through the afternoon. As you're making those Thanksgiving plans, or maybe getting ready to go on the road. You do have this severe warning area here with a couple polygons for Barron and Cook counties. I know thunderstorm activity along the coast front extending across the Carolinas and the southern Georgia is ongoing this afternoon, is what they're saying here, with a few cells briefly becoming organized. The echo tops around 30 to 35 feet there. So as we're looking overall, storms have struggled to remain organized, likely with large scale ascent, weakening and poor mid-level lapse rates and ahead of the front. Daytime heating has allowed development of surface escape around 1,000 to 2,000 joules per kilogram amid deep layers here around 50 to 65 knots. A few of the longer-lived cells that can become organized may pose a risk for hail, as cells become clustered and linearly forced along the front. A few damage and wind gusts will be possible. This will need to be continued to be monitored, but a watch is unlikely to be needed at this time. So that's the good news, at least. Not going to probably be too organized. Let me take that off. Let me take off our mesoscale and our temperature information here right now. And I'm going to go ahead. I want to get our model up, a forecast model that is, and see you from around 3 o'clock here. It's doing an okay job doing some of this activity. I just want to kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect in general. Let me zoom in just a little bit here, kind of get a little bit closer look. So there you go. That's about what should be happening now. A little off, but not terribly. It kind of said that activity kind of skirting further east and weakening, maybe some more. We'll see. And then maybe some other action popping up and trying to get closer to the state line here as we get, we're getting past sunset. I mean, it feels like summer, but no, the sun goes down at 5:30 or so. As we kind of look here, this is in the, nighttime there. That's it's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You don't see much at all, which is good news, and you just kind of see some scattered, light showers maybe. And, if we get some cool air in here, it would probably keep the stuff under severe limits, which would be good. Cool air sometimes can lend itself to some hail, but I didn't want to look at it right set up for that there, so that, this may be, kind of a pretty isolated event here as we're looking around Nashville, Georgia right now. Just trying to give you the latest information to protect you, your friends, your family. The hail indicator is getting pretty high with this right now in this mode, so we'll stick with this a little bit longer as we look around Nashville. As we look there around, it looks like they rose 76. And you definitely see some hail showing up in our correlation coefficient products. So you do not want to be outside, obviously, right now around Nashville in Georgia. In Nashville, Georgia. I mean, there could be some lightning in here as well. I'm pulling up some of our lightning indicators, putting every single one on, so it, shows, this the overall, risk here. Just kind of paints that picture. It may overdo it a little, but it definitely shows some lightning around. So whenever thunder roars, you got to go indoors here this afternoon as we're looking in that area, in that region here right now. It's just all about protecting you, your friends, your family. I'm just going to turn off the lightning for now. We have 3 different plots of that. It's just a way to kind of make sure we see that there is some danger out there. Sometimes one, short view won't pick up on it. So I want to try to make sure I put all that on there just in case. Some of it's more like satellite derived and the like. But again, I'm just trying to give you the very latest on what's happening there. South of Nashville, definitely seeing some heavy rain in toward that vicinity. So this is right there along US 129, and it's not going to just be heavy rain, it's going to be some hail that's probably falling as well. So you got to just be very mindful of that as we're looking at things, as we give you guys the very latest. So just trying to let you know exactly what's going on. Trying to keep you safe here. Okay, so just trying to keep you informed. I mean, right now it'll be about the hail risk because I don't really see tornado risk. Doesn't really look like much with this. It's pretty weak rotation, quite honestly. Pretty weak to real weak. The winds here only sound about maybe 40 miles an hour. I mean, there's always a chance it could be a little higher down to the surface, but it's mainly about the hail potential. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to let this go a little bit, longer, a couple more minutes, and then probably wrap it up unless I see something different here. I know the warning goes to a 4 further off to the east, but it's going to be entering a more rural area. So let me just give you the heads up. So the hail risk here, you can kind of watch that little line as it moves here. And just kind of follow that here, generally down over toward maybe State Road 135, and then even getting, you know, into toward areas further over in northern Lanier County, not just, you know, areas further off toward the north, like in Berrien and Cook County. But you also have Atkinson County, Jacksonville office. They might have to issue something. They might just go with a significant advisory, depending if we're getting reports on this. Let me see if we have. I have another source I can pull up here. Let me see if we have any reports here from maybe spotters. Because radar doesn't quite show it to an inch, but you know, this environment is possible. We could get something, you know, to an inch in that. It might just be a good bit of smaller hail though too. Because I do think there is some hail actually occurring with this based on our correlation coefficient product. So that's something to kind of bear in mind as we're continuing to watch all of this. I'm just trying to give you the very latest. Trying to keep you safe. Again, we're at 3:34 now on the clock. And we'll go ahead and kind of loop this here. You just got the latest scan and the latest volumetric scan, you know, as we're kind of loading that data in. Just trying to give you guys the very latest on exactly what's happening. And you can kind of see here that loop. I'll zoom out even further. Just trying to keep you safe here on your Thanksgiving. You see how it's kind of been progressing here. It's not quite the severe limits, and it got that yellow box, then another yellow box, and I see there is now a significant advisory that has just been issued further off toward the east as we're looking there. It hadn't been, there we go, it just popped up now. They're saying gust of 40 in Peachside, although this was in Jacksonville, which is in charge of issuing alert for this area. That's what they're talking about right now. You know, Pearson to Homerville. You know, it's possible a warning could get issued, but right now, maybe not quite to that level of needing a severe thunderstorm warning further downstream. But just be aware here of what could happen. I kind of think it may split the difference, you know, maybe more toward Cogville. It could slip to south, though, because this does seem, as I'll look back a little, it does seem like it maybe is diving a little bit south. I mean, it's mainly to the east, but you kind of watch it here with me, and maybe, you know, pretty rural areas as we get toward like Clint County, Lanier County next little bit. It's more about hail than wind or a tornado right now. So we're going to let it go for right now. But we do have a severe thunderstorm warning till around 4 o'clock there to the east. They're expiring the other warning here as it's more into this box now. The warning toward is further downstream in Berrien and Cook counties. Let me see if there's any questions, comments. Again, I appreciate everybody watching on this Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Just stay safe out there. And we'll break back in if it's warranted. But and if we get more warnings, we don't need to pop in. Of course, I'll let you know. I'll post on our Facebook platforms there. Our Facebook, Casey Cloud Every Accent Cloud Weather. And then on Twitter at Cloud Casey. If we have a situation where we have to pop back in, we'll be on all the sources with the live stream. And if that's a situation here where a tornado warning arises, and that's when we're required. We have to be on. We've been doing it, and it's our policy to do it here in the last 5 years on all the different platforms with tornado coverage. So we're gonna wrap it for now. Thanks so much for tuning in, trusting me. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center. I know we have the warmer temperatures now. Now these are just wind gusts, a little bit breezy out there. But then we have freeze watches for some areas and playing that light blue. And that's a sign of things that come colder air, but it's going to keep getting colder. as we're looking here, early next week could be the time where we really have some more concern around like Stark and the like. Granted, some of these other mornings, could be cold enough to cause some issues, but it's really could be a situation where we're looking here, as we get, I'll kind of double check some of my data. I mean, it's not tonight. I mean, tomorrow night's going to be maybe upper 30s, give or take. Same with Saturday night. Sunday night, a little cooler, maybe close to mid-30s. But Monday night, that's when we could have a freeze going into Tuesday morning, or at least some significant frost here, depending on how the wind sets up. So that's kind of storyline there. We just got a new update on the Berrien warning. They just canceled Cookout. It's all about Berrien County now. There's your latest box. So this is coming into the system here. The latest updated polygon. At 3:38 there, the warning continues till 4. Severe thunderstorm near Nashville, beneath at 35, quarter size hail. Nashville, Weber, Berrien County Airport. You kind of get the idea. So those are the areas that need to be watching right now. And if we get another warning, we'll at least post about it. If we get some more information, and especially reports, then that makes things a little more concerning, depending on how the radar imagery matches at that point in time. So if it's something really, impressive there on radar, we have the report to back it up, or have had them to back it up. We'll need to be on. If it's something that's more marginal in nature, kind of like what this is, a situation, we're more likely just to kind of post about it and not actually pop back in. So that's how we're running things here for the time being. Stay safe. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll be back if it's warranted.